The Galactic Empire had faced many enemies across the millennia, but nothing had prepared them for what was coming. Humanity's arrival wasn't just a declaration of war, it was a harbinger of total annihilation. The Empire had dismissed Earth as a minor, backwater planet, inhabited by fragile, insignificant creatures. But that perception would soon crumble under the weight of humanity's wrath. It began with the destruction of the outer colonies. Reports flooded into the Imperial command, entire fleets decimated, planetary defenses obliterated in minutes. The humans didn't negotiate, didn't offer terms. They simply arrived and dismantled everything in their path with surgical precision and terrifying efficiency. Grand Admiral Zorak of the Imperial fleet stood in the command chamber of the capital ship Obsidian Wrath, staring at the holographic display that showed the human fleet's relentless advance. His scaled fingers clenched the edge of the console as he listened to the frantic reports. "Sir, the 7th Armada has been destroyed. No survivors." Zorak's eyes narrowed. "How?" The communications officer swallowed hard. "The humans deployed autonomous drones, thousands of them. They overwhelmed our ships in minutes. Our energy shields were ineffective." "Impossible," Zorak hissed. "The Empire's technology was centuries ahead of anything Earth could have developed. How could these primitives have created weapons capable of such devastation?" But the evidence was undeniable. The humans were advancing with an unstoppable fury, driven by something the Empire had grossly underestimated: vengeance. It all traced back to the Council's decision to attack Earth's colonies on the fringe of Imperial space. What was meant to be a demonstration of power had ignited a firestorm. The humans had watched their settlements burn, their people slaughtered, and they had responded not with fear, but with an ironclad determination to erase the Galactic Empire from existence. "Prepare the homeworld's defenses," Zorak commanded, his voice a low growl. "If the humans want a war, we will give them one." But deep down, even Zorak knew this was no ordinary war. This was retribution, and the humans were not coming to negotiate. On board the human flagship Valiant, Commander Sarah Caldwell stood at the observation deck, her gaze fixed on the distant stars. Her face, hardened by loss and determination, reflected the cold light of the galaxy's dying embers. "Status report," she barked, her voice cutting through the silence. "Admiral," her second-in-command replied, "we've neutralized the last of their outer defenses. The core systems are vulnerable." Sarah nodded, her jaw tight. "Good. We're not here to occupy. We're here to send a message." She turned to face her crew, a collection of soldiers, scientists, and strategists who had survived the Empire's initial onslaught and vowed never to let it happen again. "They thought we were weak," Sarah continued, her voice rising with each word. "They thought they could wipe us out without consequence. But they forgot one thing." She paused, letting the tension build. "Humans don't break. We don't surrender. We fight." The room erupted in a chorus of cheers and battle cries, the sound echoing through the metal corridors of the Valiant. This wasn't just a battle for survival, it was a reckoning. As the fleet surged forward, the humans deployed their deadliest weapon: ingenuity. Their ships, smaller but faster and more adaptable, outmaneuvered the bulky Imperial cruisers. Their AI systems predicted and countered every Imperial tactic, turning the enemy's technological superiority into a liability. The Galactic Empire had underestimated humanity's ability to adapt, to innovate under pressure. But most of all, they had underestimated the human spirit, that indomitable force that refused to be extinguished. As the first human ships breached the Imperial capital's defenses, Zorak watched in disbelief. The holographic display flickered with the crimson marks of lost ships and fallen cities. "They're unstoppable," his advisor whispered, the fear palpable in his voice. Zorak slammed his fist against the console. "No, we are the Galactic Empire. We will not falter to them." But even as he spoke, he knew the truth. The Empire's reign was over. The humans had come, not just to fight, but to conquer. And they would not stop until the last star of the Empire had burned out. As Sarah Caldwell stood on the bridge of the Valiant, watching the Imperial capital crumble beneath the might of humanity's fury, she felt a sense of grim satisfaction. They had lost much: friends, family, entire worlds, but they had reclaimed their honor. "Let this be a lesson to the galaxy," she whispered, her eyes gleaming with the fire of victory. "Never cross humanity. We don't forget. We don't forgive." And as the last remnants of the Galactic Empire vanished into the void, the galaxy learned the true meaning of human vengeance. This was not just a victory, it was a warning. For in the vast, unfeeling expanse of the cosmos, There was one species you never wanted to provoke. Humans. The initial shock of humanity's devastating assault rippled through the Galactic Empire's core systems. For centuries, they had ruled unchallenged, believing their military dominance was absolute. But the swift obliteration of their outer colonies by human forces shattered that illusion. Panic spread across the Empire's ruling council, an ancient assembly of warlords and politicians who had never imagined facing an adversary as ruthless and efficient as humanity. High above the Empire's capital world of Varnak Prime, the Imperial fleet's command hub pulsed with frantic energy. Admiral Threx, a battle-hardened veteran of countless campaigns, stood before a holographic display of the warfront. The once stable borders now flickered with red alerts, signaling the rapid collapse of their outer defenses. "This is impossible," Threx muttered, his eyes narrowing as he studied the data. "They're just humans." And yet, came the cold response from Emperor Zorith, his serpentine form coiled on his throne. "They have annihilated 3 of our strongest garrisons in less than a cycle. Do not underestimate them again, Admiral." Threx clenched his mandibles in frustration. "We will not. I have mobilized the full strength of the Imperial Armada. They will meet humanity's fleet at the Draxian Rift. We will crush them there." But as the Empire prepared for a counteroffensive, humanity was already 3 steps ahead. On board the UNS Retribution, General Elena Marlowe convened with her top strategists. Their faces were grim, illuminated by the soft glow of tactical displays showing the Empire's troop movements. "They're gathering at the Rift," Colonel Davis pointed out. "Looks like they're betting everything on one decisive battle." Elena nodded. "Good. Let them." The plan was simple, brutal, and undeniably human. They would bait the Empire into deploying their forces en masse, then strike where it hurt most, their heart. As the Imperial Armada assembled at the Draxian Rift, humanity launched simultaneous raids deep within the Empire's core systems. Saboteurs disabled starship production facilities, while precision orbital strikes decimated supply lines and communication hubs. By the time the Empire realized what was happening, chaos had erupted across their territories. On Varnak Prime, alarms blared through the capital city as explosions rocked the skyline. Human strike teams, having infiltrated the planet's defenses, moved with surgical precision. Buildings crumbled under coordinated bombardments, and the streets ran with the panic of an Empire's citizens who had never known fear, until now. Admiral Threx, furious and desperate, ordered his forces to retreat from the rift to defend the core worlds. But it was too late. The human fleet pursued relentlessly, cutting down retreating Imperial ships with ruthless efficiency. The might of the Galactic Empire, once thought invincible, was crumbling under the weight of humanity's vengeance. Back on the Retribution, General Marlowe watched the reports flood in. The Empire's core systems were falling like dominoes. "They never saw it coming," Davis said, shaking his head in disbelief. "They thought we'd play by their rules." Elena's eyes were cold, her voice steady. "Humans don't play by anyone's rules. Not anymore." But the battle wasn't over. The Empire's desperation made them dangerous. In a final, reckless move, Emperor Zorith activated the Nemesis Protocol, an ancient and forbidden weapon capable of annihilating entire planets. His goal was simple. If humanity wanted to destroy the Empire, they would have to pay in blood. As the Nemesis Protocol powered up, humanity faced a new challenge, one that would test their resolve and force them to confront the true cost of their vengeance. The battle for survival was far from over, and the next move would determine the fate of both humanity and the Galactic Empire. The tension escalated as both sides prepared for the ultimate showdown, with the fate of the galaxy hanging in the balance. The humans had come for destruction, but the Empire's last stand promised to be their most formidable challenge yet. And in the shadows of the crumbling Empire, secrets long buried would emerge, threatening to change everything humanity thought they knew about their enemy and themselves. The shock of Earth's initial assault reverberated throughout the Galactic Empire's core worlds. High Chancellor Varitha's pride, once unshakable, was now marred by the brutal reality of humanity's strength. The Imperial Council convened in an emergency session, their grand chamber echoing with frantic voices and desperate strategies. "We underestimated them," Varith admitted, his voice a mix of rage and disbelief. "But we will not make that mistake again." The Empire's response was swift and overwhelming. Massive fleets, far larger than any force previously deployed, were dispatched to intercept the human advance. These were not ordinary ships. They were the pride of the Empire's military might, dreadnoughts armed with planet-cracking weapons, escorted by swarms of agile fighters and cruisers. The Empire believed sheer numbers and superior firepower would crush the human threat. As the Imperial Armada approached the contested sectors, they encountered something unexpected: silence. Human ships, notorious for their aggressive tactics, were nowhere to be seen. The vast emptiness of space stretched before them, offering no clue to humanity's next move. "Where are they?" Admiral Korik, commander of the fleet, growled, his reptilian eyes narrowing as he scanned the holographic displays. "Perhaps they've retreated," suggested one of his subordinates, but Korik wasn't convinced. Humans didn't retreat. They regrouped. They planned. And when they struck, it was with precision and fury. It wasn't long before the Empire realized the truth. The humans hadn't fled. They had lured the Empire's fleet into a trap. Hidden within the gravitational anomalies of the nearby nebula, human stealth ships launched a devastating ambush. EMP blasts disabled Imperial communications, and precision strikes targeted the engines and weapons systems of the largest dreadnoughts. Panic spread through the Imperial fleet. Ships collided in the chaos, and the once coordinated armada descended into disarray. Human forces capitalized on the confusion, their smaller, more agile ships weaving through the carnage with lethal efficiency. Admiral Korik fought valiantly, rallying his remaining forces, but it was too late. The Empire's pride had become its downfall. The remnants of the once mighty fleet limped back to the core worlds, leaving behind a field of debris, a silent testament to humanity's strategic brilliance. News of the defeat reached High Chancellor Vareth within hours. The council chamber fell into stunned silence as the transmission ended, showing the wreckage of what had once been the Empire's greatest fleet. This is impossible," Vareth whispered, his confidence shattered. They were supposed to be inferior, but humanity had proven otherwise. They had shown the galaxy that they were not to be trifled with, and they were far from finished. While the Empire scrambled to recover, humanity pushed forward. Their fleets moved like a wave, reclaiming lost territories and advancing deeper into Imperial space. Each victory fueled their momentum, and their reputation as the galaxy's most formidable force grew with every battle. Back on Earth, the United Terran Command remained resolute. General Marcus Steele, the architect of humanity's counteroffensive, addressed his commanders with unwavering determination. "We've shown them our strength," he declared, "but we're not here to just defend ourselves. We're here to end this war, on our terms." Humanity's strategy evolved with each victory. They adapted to the Empire's tactics, using intelligence and technology to outmaneuver their foes. They hacked Imperial networks, turned their own defenses against them, and sowed dissent among the Empire's ranks. But the Empire was not without its own resilience. High Chancellor Vareth, though shaken, was far from defeated. He ordered the mobilization of the Empire's last line of defense, the Obsidian Legion. These were the elite forces of the Empire, genetically enhanced and trained from birth to be the ultimate soldiers. Their loyalty was unyielding, and their ruthlessness unmatched. The stage was set for the final confrontation. Humanity, driven by the desire for justice and survival, faced off against an empire desperate to maintain its dominance. The galaxy watched in anticipation, knowing that the outcome of this war would reshape the balance of power forever. As the human fleets approached the Empire's core worlds, they encountered the Obsidian Legion. The battle that ensued was unlike any the galaxy had ever seen. It was a clash of titans, with both sides unleashing their full might in a struggle for supremacy. In the heart of the chaos, General Steele led the charge, his resolve unwavering. "We fight not just for Earth," he shouted over the comms, "but for every world that has suffered under the Empire's tyranny. We fight for freedom." The final battle raged for days, with neither side willing to yield. But in the end, it was humanity's indomitable spirit and ingenuity that tipped the scales. The Empire's forces, though powerful, were rigid and inflexible. Humanity's adaptability and relentless drive proved to be the decisive factor. When the dust settled, the Galactic Empire lay in ruins. High Chancellor Vareth, once the most powerful being in the galaxy, was captured and brought before the United Terran Command. His reign of terror was over. Humanity emerged from the war not just as survivors, but as leaders. They had earned the respect and fear of the galaxy, proving that they were a force to be reckoned with. The scars of the conflict would linger, but humanity's victory was a beacon of hope for all oppressed civilizations. And so, the story of Earth's rise to galactic power became a legend, a testament to the resilience, ingenuity, and unbreakable spirit of humanity. The Galactic Empire's once unshakable dominance had been reduced to rubble in mere hours. The skies above Thal-Raxus, the Empire's capital, burned with the remnants of a fleet that had once ruled half the galaxy. Yet, the most terrifying aspect of the invasion wasn't the destruction, it was the precision. Admiral Karan stood amidst the ruins of the Imperial Command Center, his eyes fixed on the vast holographic display that once depicted the strength of the Empire's fleets. Now it flickered weakly, showing nothing but red, symbols of defeat. Every stronghold, every defensive perimeter, every contingency plan the Empire had ever devised had been systematically dismantled. By humans. They were supposed to be inferior, Karan whispered, his voice hollow with disbelief. Primitive. Fragile. But humanity had proven otherwise. When the Galactic Council had underestimated them, dismissing their warnings and attempts at diplomacy, humanity hadn't just retaliated, they had annihilated. Every move was calculated, every assault surgical. They hadn't needed overwhelming numbers. They had relied on something far more dangerous: ingenuity, determination, and an unwavering refusal to bow. The ground beneath Karan trembled as another explosion echoed through the ruined city. He turned slowly, his once pristine uniform now torn and stained with ash and blood. Survivors scurried through the wreckage, their faces etched with fear and confusion. The mighty Thal-Raxus was now nothing more than a graveyard. A piercing sound cut through the air, the screech of engines descending from the heavens. Karan's gaze shot upwards. A human dropship, sleek and menacing, hovered above the crumbling spires. Its dark hull reflected the flames below, casting an ominous glow over the devastated landscape. The ramp lowered, and from its shadow emerged a figure. General Elias Ward. The name had become a curse among the surviving Imperial forces. The architect of humanity's vengeance, the mastermind behind the relentless assault. Ward stepped forward, his armor gleaming despite the grime and soot that clung to it. His eyes, cold and unyielding, scanned the devastation with the detached precision of a man who had seen far worse. Admiral Karan. Ward's voice echoed through the wreckage, amplified by the suit's comms system. You look surprised. Karan swallowed hard, his pride warring with the stark reality of his defeat. You can't possibly understand what you've done. The Empire, Ward interrupted, his tone icy, enslaved, tortured, and annihilated countless civilizations, including ours. The words hung in the air, heavy with the weight of truth. Karan's mind raced, trying to reconcile the image of humans as weak and disorganized with the reality standing before him. They had been wrong, so very wrong. We offered peace, Ward continued, his gaze never wavering. We extended our hand, and you slapped it away. You thought us fragile. You thought us inferior. But you forgot one thing, Admiral. Karan's voice was barely a whisper. What? Ward stepped closer, his shadow falling over the defeated officer. You forgot that humans don't break. We fight. And when we fight, we win. The silence that followed was deafening. Karan felt his knees buckle, the weight of his failure pressing down on him. Around him, the remnants of the Empire lay in ruins, a testament to humanity's unyielding spirit. But Ward wasn't finished. This isn't just about revenge, he said, turning to address the surviving Imperial soldiers who had gathered, their weapons lowered in defeat. This is about sending a message. To the galaxy. To every empire, every council, every species that dares to underestimate humanity. We are not your pawns. We are not your subjects. We are your equals. And if you cross us, we will rise. We will fight. And we will win. The soldiers exchanged glances, their expressions a mix of fear and awe. Ward's words cut deeper than any weapon ever could. They had seen humanity's wrath firsthand, and they knew the galaxy would never be the same. As Ward turned back to Karan, the Admiral felt a strange sense of resignation wash over him. The Empire was finished. The old ways were gone, and in their place stood a new power, one that had been forged in the fires of defiance and tempered by the unbreakable will of its people. Ward extended a hand, not in friendship, but in finality. Your empire is gone, Karan. But humanity is just getting started. Karan stared at the offered hand, his mind a whirlwind of regret and realization. Slowly, he reached out, grasping Ward's hand in a gesture that symbolized the end of an era and the beginning of a new one. As the human forces secured the city, Ward stood atop the highest remaining spire, looking out over the burning horizon. The galaxy had learned a hard lesson, one that would echo through the stars for generations to come. Humanity had arrived, and they were unstoppable. The news of the Empire's fall spread like wildfire across the galaxy. Former allies of the Empire scrambled to reassess their positions, while previously subjugated worlds erupted in celebration and rebellion. Humanity's victory wasn't just a military triumph, it was a symbol of hope and defiance against tyranny. On Earth, the celebrations were muted, tempered by the cost of the conflict. Families mourned their lost loved ones, and cities honored the heroes who had made the ultimate sacrifice. But amidst the grief, there was pride. Pride in what humanity had accomplished, pride in the resilience that had carried them through the darkest of times. General Ward returned to Earth a hero, but he carried the weight of every decision, every life lost under his command. Standing before a crowd of millions in Unity Square, he addressed the world, his voice steady but filled with emotion. We faced an enemy that saw us as weak, as insignificant. They underestimated our spirit, our resolve. But we showed them, and the entire galaxy, what it means to be human. We fought not just for survival, but for justice, for freedom. And we will continue to stand as a beacon of hope for all who face oppression. The crowd erupted in applause, their cheers a testament to the unbreakable spirit of humanity. But Ward knew the fight wasn't over. The galaxy was vast, and new challenges would arise. Yet, humanity was ready. They had proven their strength, and they would continue to rise to any challenge that came their way. As the sun set over Unity Square, casting long shadows over the gathered crowd, Ward felt a sense of peace. They had faced the unimaginable and emerged victorious. And as long as humanity stood united, there was nothing they couldn't overcome. The galaxy had been forever changed, and humanity's place among the stars was secured. But their story was just beginning. Subscribe to our channel for more epic tales of humanity's triumphs and struggles across the stars. Like, comment, and share if you believe in the unyielding spirit of humankind. Together, we'll explore the infinite possibilities of our journey through the cosmos.